Heyo, party people! We are talking all about consistency. And maybe we're even discussing how your good friend, Han Banan, right here, lost some consistency. And not necessarily in the things that are automatic for me at this point, but there are still things that I'm trying to grow my consistency in that I let fall off. And it sucks. It sucks to have to find your flow again. Okay? And that's why it's so important that we keep that work up and know when we need a break. But I don't know. Maybe we get a break after we've established consistency, right? After it becomes automatic. And so we're breaking that down today. Let's go! Welcome to season 3. I would love to tell you that season 3 is full of so many twists and turns and craziness that's going to come in. And honestly, it could be. But this podcast is my own personal journal of escaping from what I deemed a life that wasn't really fit for me. And that started in season 1, rooted in the fact that my dream had died and I didn't know what my goals were in life anymore. And as we've walked through the valley of what that looks like and everything encompassing, we've been recording. And so I'm excited to be going into season 3. I don't know what's in store for us, but I can tell you that from season 1 to now, every day feels a little bit better and a lot more aligned. So I'm excited that you're here. If you're just finding this today in season 3, you can go back and find all the past episodes. I started at around the age of 30 recording this podcast every weekday, working through this really painful point in my life. And we're just starting into season 3, and I'm excited to see where we get. It's a whole lot of entrepreneur, creative vibes that are going out into this world. And the more that I get to experience that, the better that I feel. So gear up, load up, and let's all go out and change the world however that looks for us. But more than anything, let's forgive ourselves for our dream dying and start getting back to rebuilding after that. Hey, oh my gosh, great to see you. Let's go ahead and ground ourselves in all of our greatness. We can't even help it. We're not going to stop. We're not going to stop this party. This morning, I wrote in my journal. Yes, I do that every morning. Some mornings, we're going to talk about that, okay? So I wrote in my journal that I have control over my mind. And it's amazing because the way that my brain works is literally, I have to tell you, when we figured out that there were no cheese balls in Idaho, and you're probably all going, oh my gosh, Hannah, who cares? Why are you still posting about? Give it up, right? When we figured that out, I instantly was like, okay, well, what's the business plan? We are moving to Idaho. We are bringing cheese balls to Idaho. We're bringing them with us in all forms. Do we want Wisconsin cheese balls? Do we want Munster cheese ball? What's the breading like? There are so many different options, variables, and we could have a restaurant that's just cheese balls. And that's sort of how my brain works. Okay, what's the problem, right? Problem, no cheese balls. How have people been surviving? Okay, and then Hannah instantly goes, how do we fix it? How do we change that, right? The easier solution may be just to bring some frozen bags of cheese balls to the one person that I met that had never had said cheese balls and fry them up and enjoy them with them, right? That may be the easiest solution. That's not where my head goes. My head literally goes to like world domination, and there's no in between. And so that is a complicated way to navigate the world, right? Because it means every single thing gets like 10 times, no matter what it is. And so all of a sudden, I've been able to quickly rein my brain back in, even with the cheese ball thing. Like, okay, that was fun, but we're not interested in creating restaurants. We're not really, I mean, yes, we are cheese ball enthusiasts / professional reviewers. In case you have some at your restaurant, you need some professional insight. We tend to be connoisseurs of the good cheese ball. But like, we have no interest in doing that. Going into that industry, building a restaurant, there's zero interest there. So pulling myself back in, pulling the reins in, has been something that has been a priority in all of this work. Hannah, your ability to control your mind and your ideas and expand where makes sense and with what aligns with your life purpose. Not everything aligns. I am telling you, me saving the state of Idaho with cheese ball domination is not in alignment with what I want to do. Okay? Great business plan. If you like restaurants and you're into that, honestly, we should sit down. I can give you a business plan. Like, this could be a thing. But it's not my thing. It's not my thing. And it is not worth my time spinning. Right? And it's not just that. It's other things. And there have been other things that came up. Oh my gosh, should I be concerned about this? And my ability to completely blow things out of proportion that are really relatively small. And my ability to now find patience in finding solutions, in pursuing things, right? Because most of the time, most of the time, it's minute and it doesn't matter. I think someone had said like it's a 5-year rule. If it wouldn't matter in 5 years, then probably just drop it. That's a great measure. And I have to do that with my never-ending flow of ideas. There are just some things that don't need my train of thought and level of expertise. And that has been a hard pill to swallow for me because sometimes it's like, no, I know better. And I'm always challenging, right? And I'm always looking at things. I'm always going, how could we do it better? There's got to be a way to do it better. There's got to be a way to do it different. Here's how we're different. Here's how we would impact and take over. Here's how we would do it. The status quo of how it's done doesn't make sense to me. I want to do something different. I want to bring something different to the table. It's the only way we continue to thrive and exist. We have to continue building and getting better. And so the fact that my brain goes to that with every single thing is awesome. Now I can recognize that as something that is amazing, as an asset to who I am and how I can contribute to anything that's going on, should you want my help. But I have to be able to control and balance that and understand when that level is not necessary. And this morning, that's what I wrote in my journal. I am better at navigating myself and my dive in, like only contributing to what makes sense, only contributing to a higher level when asked, right? Like, stay in your lane. That's what I need to get better at. Stay in your lane, do what's being asked, and on things where you are in control of what's expandable and what you can do, that's where you run free. But other than that, let's quit wasting our energy, time, and thought on places we don't even know we're going to be invited. Like, get over it. Move on. Use that thought towards something that can be productive versus spinning wheels on things that no one's going to care about in 5 minutes, right? Because I would obsess over things for like full days, full weeks. And now that timeline has shortened because of my ability to rein it all in. This may not be a problem that you're ever impacted by. This may not be how your brain works, but in case it is, that is probably one of the biggest struggles, is like not letting your brain run away with whatever that is. Even though that's good, right? That's an asset. It's just a balance. It's an understanding of when that's an asset and when it can become a crutch. It's both things, which all of our talents are, by the way. So anything that we're extremely good at, when we move into the flow state, and I'm reading a book on that very specifically right now and found some really awesome, like little nuggets to put in the book. But when we get into that flow state, the problem with it is we disappear, right? We're just operating. Time doesn't exist. The world doesn't exist. We're just flowing. And that's how it feels to me when I get to work on an idea, when I get to bring my ideas to that idea, when I get to form what it looks like. The problem with that is I tend to run and not pay attention to what's going on while I'm running, right? Which isn't an issue if I'm running by myself. If I'm the one deciding where we go next, that's perfect. If I'm building things alongside other people, I have to stay conscious and almost not allow myself to get into the flow. So it's a balance, good people. It's just a balance. But my great thing is being able to stop myself, because my mind used to run away for days into the flow state, ignoring all instances of reality. And now I'm doing a better job of keeping that in check and applying those skills when asked or when required, but otherwise not allowing things that don't deserve my good energy and good ideas to steal from the things that do need that. If that makes sense. Okay, that's my great thing. Go ahead and recognize yourself for all of your greatness, blah, 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 every single day. We're going to talk about that right now. Okay, let's go. Every single day, right? This is madness. Okay, you're going, oh my gosh, a daily podcast. That's so crazy. Listen, it is not once a week, because that is not enough. And I am obsessed with this idea. Because people are like, oh no, not every day. No, that's crazy, right? That's crazy level. But here's the thing. Think about everything that you've done great in your life. Okay? Just go ahead and make a little mental list. What are those things? When you did that require sacrifice and commitment, and more than anything, consistency? I'm guessing yes. Right? If you've ever been on a sports team, what do? You practice every day. Every day. And if your coach is really good, they make you practice the same things every day, over and over and over again. Why? Why? And you're going, no, that's a bad coach. No, that's a great coach. Because when it's tested, you are going to go back to ground zero. And if we haven't built ground zero up to a hill, you sink back into a slump and you divert. You go back to bad habits. The breakdown of bad habits comes with daily consistency. Okay? I can't stress it enough. I cannot even begin to tell you that if I hadn't pushed myself to do this podcast every day, we would not be where we are today. It doesn't happen picking it up once a week. And why? Right? You're going, no, Hannah, it can't be that hard. You've told me that I could ease into it, and you can. Okay? But it is going to take you so much longer. So much longer. And that's not just on like I need to work on myself and I need to, it's not just on that side. Okay? It's in everything. If you are touching something once a week, once a month, even twice a week, you're letting yourself off the hook. Because I want you to think of it like this, okay? If you do something one time, it gets one time the energy. And that multiplies daily. So if you've done something 5 times, right? It's like level 5. And it's not just 5, it's times 5. But say that you stop the habit because you take a break on the weekends. And I know that I've talked about this before. And this is what's frustrating to me is even though I'm an expert and I tell you these things and we talk about them and I say I'm going to do better and I'm going to own this, I fall back too. And probably the only thing that saves me is that I keep coming back here every day for us to keep the conversation going. But if I didn't have this, what would I be consistently doing? Because this weekend was a great example. And you need to take breaks. Listen, you need to take breaks. But here I am now with this understanding that I am starting all over. That everything that I have built for the last 2 months, where I was getting into a good consistent flow, where I was waking up and I was doing my 5 and 5 and I was planning out my day and I was killing it. I don't remember. It's not muscle memory for me enough that I can take 4 days off and just get back into the flow. I'm not at that level. I am excited for when I am, but what I'm realizing today is that I'm not. I am with the podcast, right? Because imagine if we do something 5 times, okay? This podcast, we're recording, 557 billionth episode. Maybe we're in the 60s now, right? So that's 560 times the energy. Okay? And if we had stopped, we go back to 0 and you start building all over again. And so think of how often you're doing that. When you take just even one day off from, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's a side business that you want to build, maybe it's you want to write a book, maybe it's that you want to, I don't know what the frick you want to do, you want to go back to school, and you're starting and stopping a lot. And you go, well, I only have Tuesdays and Thursdays. Fine. Then it better be every Tuesday and Thursday. Okay? We can't take breaks. You can't do it. You can't do it. Oh, wait. I'm working on posing these better. You can take breaks once you've established the flow. And it's so consistent that you could pick it back up even if you dropped it for 7 months. You would know. You would know. It is a part of who you are and how you operate. It would feel weird to not exist with that. But a lot of us aren't there, right? And I'm not even there. And I have to hold myself. So even if I went on vacation right now, since I haven't found a flow with utilizing the 5 and 5 daily planner, with planning my days in that way, with doing my job consistently in that manner, I have to keep doing it. Even if I'm waking up and I'm writing like I'm on vacation and I'm writing, go to the beach, go take a hike, go find souvenirs, eat Mexican, see the sunrise, right? And then I do like 5 little things. Even if it's not work related, it's still about the process. So I don't have to be working necessarily, but I still have to stay in the habit of structuring my day that way. And instead, I was just like, whoop, yeah, girl, you deserve this break. Go take a break. You got this, right? Go relax, which is good. I have no issue with relaxing. I have an issue with us relaxing before this has become our norm, right? Before we're well practiced in self-development, in how this works. So it wasn't a problem for me to bounce back in and go, oh, yep, we wake up at 3:30 a.m., we read. We wake up at 3:30 a.m., we walk the dog, we read, we journal, we read again, we go run or work out, whatever that looks like for the day, and then we meditate, record. And most of that stuck. Most of that was unquestioned, but we've been doing that for at least 90 days straight. And so it's just the norm now. I don't even question it. This is just who we are. This is our process. This is how we wake up. This is how we do life. Regardless, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have to stay in that flow. When we get out of it, we don't feel as good. This is who we are. This is our process. This is how we work. Right? It's discipline. It's discipline. And discipline gives you freedom, right? Because if I can just flow my day like that, if I could flow my entire day like that, and this is how I operate, I don't have to think or question how to operate. And for the last 2 days, right, I've struggled with that. Oh, how do I do this again? Oh, yeah, the 5 and 5 daily planner. Oh my gosh, what are all the things that I need to do? How did I drop the ball on these things? Well, you dropped the ball because you just like left the ball. You were like, bye, ball. Great to see you. I'm not going to do that. I'm not bringing you with me. We gone. Bye. Bye, life. But you are what you consistently do. And so it would have benefited me to at least stay with how I plan my day, since that's the one thing that's glaring, that I haven't gotten down, that I'm not great at yet. Right? And how you structure that is really important. Okay? Because I don't want you to go, oh, because this is where my head goes. Hannah, ugh. And I work on this with coaching, sports, and I work on this now with parenting my children. And this is what's important. I'm not coming back and saying, Hannah, you're so bad. You should have done that. You should have planned this on your vacation. You should have done that. No, because should have doesn't matter, right? Like, what's the point of me being mad at a past version of myself? It's done. It's over. There's nothing that we can do. So now we're just looking at what came as a result of that. Well, the result is Hannah wasn't ready to hit the ground running on Tuesday. Okay, so I'm not even looking at what happened. I need to quickly reflect on that. Hannah, look, you took a 5-day break from things that you hadn't built a consistency pattern with. And so that's where you fell off, right? And my level up went back to 0. 0. Everything that we had built zeroed out within a matter of day. The second that I stopped the day plan, zero. Right? And that's a hard pill to swallow. So you're going, it can't be like that, Hannah. It can't. Well, look at the people who get further than you. Look at them. What do? Well, they're probably showing up. And my guess is they're showing up every day. And it's even if you're continuing to listen to the show every day, right? If you stopped for a couple days, zoop, back to zero. Why, Hannah? Why is life like that? Because it's just how it is. It's just how it works. I don't know how to explain it. Right? Because I think about how we got to the place where we are now. And I think the only reason we got to where we are right now as fast as we did is because it was a daily pursuit, a daily question. How do we keep improving? And if you were working on improving yourself and you actually showed up to the table with considered thought, hours, patterns, you would get there faster too. But in our inability to keep the ball afloat, in our inability to keep showing up consistently because we're going, no, I would need to see results by now. I don't feel any different. I don't look any different. This isn't working. It isn't working. Well, that thought might be the first thing to address. But the second thing to address is this understanding that it's a bigger process and that we're just constantly testing and throwing out into the world. And then we're receiving feedback. And then our understanding of what that feedback is and how it impacts us and if it is what we want or if it is even valid is really what allows us to grow and understand where we go from here. And so that's it, guys. You got to keep picking. You got to keep that ball up. What does that look like for you? And when you're talking about this, I want you to pose it in ways that aren't threatening or angry. And so how do we do that? Well, last night, when my 5-year-old came in, she had a bug bite on her leg. She said, Mom, my leg itches. And my first thought was, don't itch it. Right? And I'm certain that that's what I said first. And then I remembered our minds can't respond. It's funny that you even pose it this way. Your mind cannot respond to a negative. It doesn't know how. And so I want to give her something that allows her to respond the way that I'm asking her to respond. So saying don't itch it gives me the opposite result, right? What was she doing? Itching her leg excessively. So then I posed the question different when I started to think about it this way. Baylor, you can itch your bug bite in the morning. She never touched her leg again. She never touched her leg again for the night. Right? But the second that I said, don't itch that, she itched it like crazy. And I don't think that the itching went away. I think it's how we pose that question. And so how are you similar in your response to things? Well, I'm going, Hannah, don't not plan your day. Gosh, you got to plan your day, right? Hannah, planning your day gives us a direct path to winning and accomplishment. And every time that you do that, every time that you use your 5 and 5 planner and you own your day, you feel less anxious, you feel more accomplished, and comments and thoughts and little things don't eat at you as much because those comments, thoughts, little things that flow in only get to you when you're not confident in what you're accomplishing. And if we're being 100% transparent and honest, those things only get to me or you when you know that they're true. Right? So if you said oh, Hannah, you don't even have a job. What do you even do? And I wasn't actually working, that would feel offensive. But it wouldn't if I had a plan, if I was showing up and working every single day on whatever it is that I do, right? The problem isn't the person and the comment as much as it is my own personal reflection. And so if I know that to be my truth, if I know that I'm not showing up and I'm not killing it and I'm not holding myself accountable to what I expect, right? To daily movement, daily consistent movement in the direction of whatever it is that I'm working on. If I know that I'm not doing that work, then everything that questions that offends me. But I can promise you that when I'm showing up and I'm consistent and I'm moving forward, those things hit different. 100%. I don't even notice them. They definitely don't throw me off. Because I'm just like, yep, this is what I do. This is how I do it. Whatever. Bye. Because those questions aren't really offensive unless I take offense. And I only take offense when I know that I'm not showing up in the best way, in the way that I feel good about. I only take offense if I don't feel good about how I'm showing up. And so your ability to show up, your willingness to show up and not stop the chain of level up. I want you to be on 560 something level up. That's a good level to be on, people. Right? And think about how quickly we got to this place. Well, that, when you think about it in that way, when you think about it as like a Mario Star scenario, it makes sense. But every time that you stop to party or you stop to, I don't know what you're doing, right? Every time that you stop, you go back to ground zero. You do. And so let's start continuing. Let's continue. Let's find consistency. Because otherwise we're going back. We're going back to ground zero. And it's not as much, oh, we need to work on this, or oh, we need to do this. We need to find a new way to do this. Even if you did basic level stuff, you would get better over time. People try to fancy it. People try to make it something more important than it needs to be. Do the basic every day. You'll get better. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world. Hey, thank you so much for listening. If you're still here, go ahead and check it's just me, out on all of our socials. I post every day, post with some inspirational, quotes and movements, definitely on Instagram and Facebook. You can find us at The Death of a Dream, also on LinkedIn, but I think that's just me. It's just Hannah Nuss. But you can check out kind of some daily encouragement to go down, chase your dreams, and live your best life. You can always check back here in the show notes for anything that we might have talked about at some point in the show, anything that I'm creating at this given point. I won't necessarily talk about it on the podcast every single day, but you can always find what I'm working on in the show notes. So thank you so much for listening. All of you, whether you listen to one episode, 5 minutes or 5 seconds, make a difference to me. And I couldn't be here doing this work if no one listened at all. So every person over one is just a bonus. And I feel extremely grateful to be a part of your day.